Welcome to Lovely Nail and Beauty. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the notification bell, and also don't forget to click on the like button if you like the video. Thank you. Hi guys, welcome to Lovely Nail and Beauty Candle. Today I'm gonna do a new project. I'm gonna create candle for beginner. So I'm gonna show you, that's a hot plate that I use for my project. I'm gonna put that on the side. So I'm gonna show you each material that I use for my project. So now I have a melting pot. I have two of them actually. I have a small one and a big one. And right there I have a center device that I'm gonna use. There is the wood and the metal one. And I have my spoon. And I have this one that I use, the tweezer. And I have my glue sticker. And also I have my candle wick. And I'm using this silicone mold and the glass. So I have two different containers for my candle. And also I'm using some fragrance that I have. I have the peppermint, the green tea, and the orange. And over there I have my white soy wax that I'm gonna use for my project. And also I will need a plain surface for my candle at the end. So now I'm gonna start with my hot plate. So I'm gonna set up my hot plate. It should start to melt. It should start to be hot before I do everything. So I'm gonna set it up to high. And I'm gonna put it on the side and do something else. So here I have my melting pot, the big one. I'm gonna pour the white soil wax inside, and I'm gonna put that on my hot plate until all the soil wax melt. So it's gonna take a couple of minutes. I have my hot plate, it starts to become hot. So I'm gonna leave it until all the soil wax melt. It's gonna take a couple of minutes. So each time I need to check to see how the soil wax is gonna look. So after a few seconds, I'm gonna check again my wax. I have my plate surface here. So we're gonna go back again after a couple of minutes. There we go. This is the white soil wax. As you can see, it starts to melt, and I'm using my spoon to stir it up everything together. Again, it needs a couple of minutes to melt. So I'm gonna put that on the side until everything melts, and we're gonna see how it looks after it melts. So after all the soil wax melt, that's the way it's gonna look, liquid completely. So with this soil wax, I'm gonna separate them because I would like to create two fragrance and two different color. So on this one, I'm gonna use the silicone mold. That's the silicone mold that I'm gonna use. And I'm gonna add some fragrance so that it can smell good. So I use the tea green. I'm gonna add some drop. And I'm gonna add some color dyeing, some dyeing color. So I choose the green. I'm gonna use my tweezer to put it inside. So I'm gonna stir up everything together until the dyeing dissolve completely. You can also, the more you add the color dyeing, the more you're gonna have pigment. So I'm gonna add more dyeing, and I'm gonna stir up everything until the color dyeing melt completely. So it takes like a couple of minutes to melt everything. So you need to take your time. And again, when you're dealing with candle, you need to be careful because you're dealing with a hot substance. So the more I stir up, and you can see it's getting green, and I like that. That looks so nice. Okay, I think it's perfect now. I'm gonna put it on the side, and I'm gonna take my silicone mold, and I'm gonna take some glue sticker. I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna use also the candle wick. So I'm gonna add them together. All right, and I'm gonna put that inside of my silicone mold, and I'm gonna use a center device. This time I use the wood one, and there is the metal one too, but it's doing the same job. Okay, so it's gonna help me to center my candle wick in the middle of my mold. And now I'm gonna pour my wax, my green wax. Okay, I'm gonna pour my wax until it's full the silicone mold. This video is just for beginner because this is the first time for me to do it. So now I'm gonna put it on the flat surface. So I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna try to create another candle. So now I'm gonna create the candle with the glass. I'm gonna using the glass as a container. And again, I'm gonna use my glue sticker. When you're dealing with candle, if you have an extra soiled wax melt, it's better to use it for right away from another project or for to create another candle instead of wasting the wax. So I'm gonna put my center device. This time I'm gonna use the metal one to make sure that the candle wick is straight in the middle. So this candle wick acts so funny. Okay, I think there we go. So now I'm gonna use my soiled wax melt. That's the other quantity that I separate, and I'm gonna use some fragrance. I'm gonna add some fragrance, but for this one I will not add any dyeing color. So I use the peppermint for this one. So I'm gonna add the peppermint, some drop. And I'm gonna stir it up with my spoon. And I'm gonna pour my soiled wax inside of my container. sometimes it can happen that the candle wick start to lose its shape because of the soil wax is so hot. So that's the reason it's kind of dancing. So I try to fix it straight. I think it's bent because of the heat. So I think I'm gonna take off this candle wick and put another one. This was kind of looking funny. The goal, I don't want to see that candle wick after my soil wax is cold. It should be hiding inside. So I'm gonna use another candle wick again. It's the same procedure again. So I'm gonna add my center device. I'm gonna make sure that it's in the middle. All right, even if it's bending, but it will not be on the side of the candle. Nobody could see it. So now I have my two candles. And again, I'm gonna create another candle with the rest of my wax because I don't wanna spoil. So right there, I create another candle in the glass. First, I use the green soil wax melt. I want to let it cool down because I would like to create two colors. And I have over there the transparent one. So after it cooled down a little bit, we're going to see how it looks. So that's my third candle. So after it dry, as you can see, it cooled down. And the green wax is kind of hard now. And I cool down also the white one. There we go. This one. And I'm going to add that inside of the green wax. This technique is only if you want to create two colors. So that's my goal. It's a little bit sticky. Because if you pour the wax when it's very hot, you will not see the difference of color. So I let them cool down a little bit. And I just make sure that I fix my wax with my spoon inside of my glass container. So we're gonna see how it's gonna look. Again, this is my first time to do it. So now I have my 3 candles. So I can see the 2 colors. You can't, but later on you're gonna see it. And that's the way it looks after it's cooled down. So after cool down all my candle, this is how it looks. So that's the one that I mix the 2 colors. As you can see, you see the green color and the white one. There is some kind of bubble air. That mistake can occur when you're doing candle for the first time. And this is the glass container. I like the way it looks. It's not bad. And over there I have the one with the silicone mold. So I'm gonna use my scissor to cut my candle wick because it's too high. I want them to have a normal height, so I'm gonna cut them. It's too long. Okay, so now with the silicone mold, that's the first time that I'm using that. I'm gonna try to take off the candle from the mold. So I use my wood stick, try to bring some air inside. But the more I do it, I feel it's not a good idea to use the irregular shape of silicone mold because the candle, it's hard to take it off, as you can see, and I'm destroying the shape of my candle. So I already tried to take it out, but it's kind of hard. And the more I use the wood stick, the more it's destroyed the shape of my candle. It's not that so easy. It's kind of hard. I think I will not advise people to use a regular shape silicone mold for candle. That will not be a great idea. So I think I really try my best, but I can't. It's very hard. I'm gonna try again to put some here between the candle and the mold. But again, I can see already I'm destroying my candle shape. So it's gonna be useless. So I think I'm gonna use my scissor to cut it. So I mean, the only thing that I learned, if you want to use a silicone mold, don't use irregular shape because it's gonna be hard to take off your candle. So I'm gonna cut my silicone. As you can see, I destroy the shape of my candle by doing that. But that's something that I learned also myself. So I'm gonna take off the candle out of the silicone mold, and you can see how bad it's look when you try to take it off naturally. So I messed up the shape of my candle. So that's not a good idea, especially to use the irregular silicone mold for candle. Use the regular one. So that's the way it looks. It's not too bad for a first time. So this is my tree candle, how to make a tree candle for a beginner. If you have any message, email me. And thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click on the notification bell and press like button. Thank you so much for watching.